Well, it's all registered in my name, all the paperwork's done, so it's time to let the work begin. Well, here she is. Meet Anita, a new addition to the family. She is a 1992 Toyota Commuter with a 2.8 litre diesel in it. It's actually an old maxi taxi. I had some seats taken out of the back and converted into a disability van. A customer actually gave it to me. I've been going out and servicing her vehicles for quite some time, and she originally bought it for her husband, who was a quadriplegic. He passed away 2 years ago, so the van had sort of been sitting there at her house and she had no use for it. So I went out to her and went to service the vehicle, and she offered to give it to me pretty much. So I'm going to take that opportunity to turn it into a little mini tour van, because I do have some gigs coming up that are quite large sort of travel dates. So it's going to be a little bit of a process to sort of get it where I want to, or where I need it. There's a few things that do need to be done. First of all is the actual big wheelchair ramp in the back. It weighs a ton, and we actually have no use for it. So I'm trying to find somewhere currently to donate that to. It's not as easy as I thought, because they're quite an expensive bit of kit, but you've got to get them installed properly. But that'll be coming out tonight actually. So there are some bolts down the bottom that keep it in, which are hex head bolts, that you can get to the nuts underneath, but up the front under that rubber mat are actually some rounded, like round head bolts. We may need to actually drop the fuel tank to get to those nuts, or the captive nuts, but we'll get it up on the hoist and we'll see. Also skeptical about how high we can hoist this thing, being a high roof, so it might make it a little bit easier. So I just put the ramp down to show you what we've got for space in the back. It is quite a high roof, so it's going to be easy to stack stuff. And having that maxi taxi seating means that we can comfortably sit 3 people in the back, because you can sort of sit them head to toe, and there is like it's like sitting on a chase lounge or something. You can have your legs straightened out, plus 2 people in the front. Otherwise, worst comes to worst, we can fit 9 people in here. 9? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 people. Plus this seat, which is actually going to be coming out, because if you actually sit in it, or being a bigger guy like myself, your head hits the handles and it just kind of, you can't sit in it properly. So it's going to be coming out, and just right pretty much flush with the wheel arching, we're going to be putting a partition up, so you can safely secure your luggage and stuff like that in the gear in the back without it coming into the main cab and sort of bothering you. Just another sort of secure way of locking it up too. So sitting in the back here, you can actually see that there is quite a fair bit of room. I'm about 6'2" or something like that, so I can stretch my legs out quite easily, and I've sort of wedged myself up against the back of the chair in this window here. It's actually quite nice. There's also a really decent air conditioning unit in the back here, and once we put that partition up in the back, it's going to get seriously cold in here. However, the aircon doesn't actually work at the moment. We've got fan controls and everything like that, but when I engage it on the aircon switch at the front, the aircon compressor doesn't actually engage, the clutch doesn't engage on the engine. So either that's a low pressure, like there's no gas in the system and it's just like a fail-safe sort of thing, or a safety thing, or there may be an electrical drama with the air conditioning. But once we get it up on the hoist, and we can actually put some gauges on the bottom, and because the aircon valves are sort of just underneath the cab, we can actually see if there is any pressure, or we can do a vac test and all that kind of thing, because being in North Queensland and touring around, you've got to have air conditioning regardless of what time of year it is. Just looking back too gives you an idea of where that partition is going to go. So that second seat just there is going to be taken out probably tonight, but we will have a little bit of room between this seat and where the partition's going to start, so that's going to allow us to put our bags and stuff like that we want to access from inside the van, either while it's driving or something like that. Save us climbing into the back, especially it's a pain when you've got to get your gear or something out of, when you have a trailer or something like that, and you sort of got to you know, play Tetris to get stuff in and out. So we're going to leave that blank just for extra storage in the back, where you can put an esky or a little fridge or something like that. And we're going to build the partition all the way up to the top of the roof. Another thing I'm going to do is replace the original factory lighting. Nothing wrong with these, but could be a little bit brighter. Probably just get some LEDs. I'll keep the fittings. The fittings seem to be fine. Trying to do this on the cheap too, so it's going to be all, you know, eBay electronics and stuff like that. I know some people are probably cringing hearing that, but like any muso, you're always on a budget. So, but no, we're just going to get some little LEDs for that. Possibly some other maybe strip lighting or something like that, just to light it up a little bit, to light up the floor or something like that. I do have some USBs, like a USB charging station coming that can sort of fit in here, so you can sit and relax and charge your iPad, your iPhone, or whatever. Another thing worth mentioning is that when we take the wheelchair ramp out, we're going to be left with this. It's just a positive and negative to run the pump on the lift. I've got a deep cycle battery that I'm actually going to put in the back here that we can use to run auxiliary power, so I'll run that to the USB ports and stuff like that, and put in a couple of SIG lighters and just some 12 volt stuff. Run that with the voltage sensitive relay. Plus it'll be the same polarity as the start battery, so that way if you're out on the road and for whatever reason the battery dies or drops a cell, or if you've got a bung alternator or something like that, you will actually have another battery to put under the bonnet. Just stuff like that. I'm trying to sort of, you know, give, like, everything has sort of two jobs, you know. Something doubles as something else. It saves space that way. It comes in handy. Just sort of like to be a bit resourceful with things, especially when you're limited to space once you have, you know, gear and bags and people in it. Another thing that really needs to be done, and perhaps one of the most important things to be done, is window tinting. So the back windows I'm going to have 5% tint. I just don't want anyone to be able to see in. You may be able to see in through the 5%, ideally for the back windows, because the partition is going to be closed off. If I can get some black contact or something, just to prevent, whether you shine a torch or anything like that, it just, you can't see in. Because I want to leave it inconspicuous as possible, just so it doesn't look like a band van. It's not an invitation to break in. So it's pretty much going to stay looking like this. Maybe just give her a bit of a tidy up. But that's high on the priority list at the moment, is tinting the windows. And I think on eBay you can get like a 7-meter roll of 5% tint for something like $19 or something like that. So, and I have tinted windows before. It's sort of slow, painful work, but it's doable. Let's take a look into the front. She's a manual, 2.8 litre diesel. It actually goes really well for an old diesel. Pretty good on fuel too, by the sounds of it. I have just filled it up the other day and done nearly 160 k's, and it's just budging past the full line. Whether it's a weird shaped tank or something like that, I'm not quite sure, but I guess we'll find out. It's also done just under 192,000 k's, which is, for an old Toyota diesel, it's barely run in really. I think we're going to still get a fair few k's out of her. And the vehicle has had all its logbook servicing, like even from the dealer up to 2 years ago when it was last serviced. So it has been very well looked after. As you can see, the interior, apart from the dirty floors, it is very tidy. The only really noticeable thing is just the broken vent there, but I mean, it's a 26-year-old car, 27-year-old car. Another thing that has to go too is this. I can't tune it to any station no matter how hard I try. So we're going to have to get something a little more up to date in that. Currently I've just been running the Bluetooth speaker. Once again, there is plenty of storage in here. This is just behind the passenger seat. Oodles and oodles of storage. Plus we can also possibly build a shelf up here because the roof is very high. As far as mechanical and safety goes, it's actually really good. There's no oil leaks. We've actually got, you can't really see there, but near brand new tyres on it. I did have to replace the wiper blades just because they'd been sitting for 2 years and they're all old and brittle, so they've got nice new ones on there. And this squirter doesn't squirt. That one does, but this one doesn't. Other than that, there's little work to do on it really. It's just mainly the fit out, which which isn't going to take long. It's not going to cost much money, but it's going to be fun. Let's start her up. Glowing, glowing. Ah. She purrs like a cat. These old Toyotas go forever. First things first, although yes, I am a drummer, no, I'm not disabled, so I got to get this disabled sticker off here. I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit harder because it seems like it's more of a paper style one. And being in the sun, it's just got wrecked, but we'll see how it goes. Yep, that's exactly what I thought would happen. Well, that'll do till tinting time anyway. Alrighty, well, we're on our way to go and hoist her up and get this lift out. That's about as high as we can hoist her. Geez, that's close. Alrighty. Doesn't look too bad under here, actually. So I don't know if you can see them, but they're the nuts that are with the hex head ones that are holding the front ones on. Obviously much easier to get to on that side, but there are still ones up the front which we may have to drop that fuel tank down because they'll be up underneath there. I know you can't see it very well, but oh, he's oh, you son of a bitch. Hey.
Hey. Fancy seeing you.
It's a big bit of steel hold, man, eh? That's him. Alrighty. Well, it was a tough day, but we got there. That bloody scuff mark. They're all the bits off the bottom of the ramp that keep it secured to the floor. And pretty much the ramp is sitting here freely. We've just left these in just to stop it from moving too much. We decided to leave it inside the van until we can get rid of it that way. We've got a way of transporting it. It's just as simple as unbolting them and disconnecting it, and then out the door it goes. It's been quite the productive day for the van, so it's good. Hopefully we can keep going at this sort of rate.